For those of y'all here, welcome to the Masterclass on strategic networking, building powerful connections for lasting business success. So glad y'all are here. One thing we'll do, we'll keep this in line with the slide. So as Sean goes through there, we will talk about how to effectively network. But first, who we are. If y'all haven't been with us before, here is our logo, the BOP logo, Business on Purpose. That is who we are, color codes and all, and why we exist. This is important. This is why we get out of bed in the mornings. This is our mission statement. So to liberate owners from chaos, to make time for what matters most. So if you'll throw that up there, Sean, just that mission statement. And how we liberate owners from chaos, we don't just wing it. Everything is principle based. It's through our proprietary roadmap. You will see that regardless of business, this is what we walk every one of our clients through, regardless of business or industry. Also, here is the BOP team. I want you to see who you are dealing with today. So throw that up there, Sean. That is the team. You can see at the bottom, those are our coaches and support group at the top. And I would recommend, as a business owner, if you can get your team, that is us at the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky. One time a year, we go somewhere offsite and we work on the business. We practice what we preach. So that is a shot of our team at on the Bourbon Trail. So hey, before we dive right in, a little bit about me. Here is my crew. My name is Brent Whitaker. I'm one of the coaches here at BOP. That is my wife, Lee, my little daughter. We call her Lightning with the yellow hair. That's Ada James. And nothing screams Southern like this second pick here. This is us doing what we do best, is on a road trip, eating Bojangles off the tailgate, and you'll see our black lab, Ollie Mae. So, hey, here's the real deal. You'll probably hear nothing that's actually mind-blowing today. However, if these principles, if they're implemented, that it will lead to change. Small habits done consistently over time lead to real change. So let's get into it. If y'all are ready to kick this thing off, here's the deal. We love doing master classes and we do them monthly. But here's what we've learned is that the work that we challenge you to do or encourage, however you want to say it, rarely gets done, because as you know as well as I do, as soon as you walk out that door, like chaos kind of punches us right between the eyes. We will workshop a couple of these things today, and it may feel awkward. That's fine. I'll play some music, but what I'm asking is for you to do the work while we're here. So, hey, for Sean, so you won't change slides, a little technical stuff, until you see the bolded letters. So, we are going to ask you to workshop today. We'll put some music on. Sean is DJing, and then we'll actually do the work so that you can take advantage of this time. Secondly, to be fully here, to be present, right, is crucial for the success of this exercise that we're going to do and this masterclass that we're going to unpack. It's crucial for you while you practice networking, which is what we are talking about today. So this power of presence. So I can't make you, but I would encourage you to silence your phones, all pings, dings, and buzzes for both your sake and ours, and have a pen and pad handy, because actually we are going to work on the business. So what are we talking about today? The what? Networking is marketing to promote your brand, and more importantly, to promote your solution you have to solve a problem. You are promoting the solution you have to solve a problem for that potential customer. For this exercise, here's what we're going to do. I want you to grab a piece of paper. It is time to workshop this. I want you to write out this question. So grab a piece of paper, and at the top, I want you to write this question. I want you to physically write it down. We're going to give you some time. Where does 80% of my business come from? Where does 80% of my business come from? I'll give you some examples. If you're a builder, 80% of your business may come from real estate agents, architects, referrals. Where does 80% of your business come from? So write those at the top. So if we're using this example, if you're a builder and your top silos, we're going to call them silos, are architects, real estate agents, referrals. Write those at the top and really just create 3 silos, and we are going to work on that. So think about that really quick. Where does 80% of your business come from? So Sean, if you'll put some music on while they do that out, we'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Shouldn't take long. Hopefully you know your top referral sources of where you are getting the majority of your business. So he'll throw like a little 2 minutes up there for us, and we will have some music, take some time, write that out. Throw in the chat if you want to. Share that with us. Hey, what do you do? Where is 80% of your business coming from? The more interaction we have, the better. Let's make this time worth our time here. So let's see that chat move. What do you do? And where is 80% of your business coming from? If you'd love to share that, we would love to see it. And Sean, you can read that out if folks are getting active in the chat. If not, no worries at all.
I wrote contractors. We work with a lot of contractors. Good
Yep.
builders, good people. Services from Dr. Claudine. Great.
Okay. Yep. So where does 80% of your business
Referrals.
come from?
Nicole,
Yes.
build those relationships.
Hey, fun fact about referrals, according to the Carnegie Institute, 91% of your folks are willing to give you a referral, which is low-hanging fruit. 11% of business owners ask for referrals. 91% of your people are willing to give you a referral. 11% actually ask. Okay.
Lots of referrals, lots of realtors, center of influence, commercial construction. Good answers.
Okay. All right. Now, here's the second part of this exercise. Now, take your top source and start writing in that silo specific names within that silo. So if it's architects or if it's referrals, who are these people? Actually write the names. If it's real estate agents, write the names of agents within that silo. And you will continue to do that for the other two silos. So going back to the example, if it's real estate agents, architects, and referrals, I want y'all to actually write out actual people that you know within those silos. Thanks for the music, Sean. All right, so let's do this. If you've got, going back to your number one source of those three silos, write out, will you have those names written out? You should have names written out. Give yourself a goal. Give yourself a deadline. When will you contact these people? When will you contact these people? So a couple more minutes here. Hopefully you've got a list. Hold yourself accountable. Set a date. I will contact Sarah with XPE Realty by next Friday at 12. So there is setting the goal and there's some accountability there. And throw any questions you may have in the chat. We will field those at the end. Here's one thing that's really important. Sean, pause that for just a sec. What is the goal? What is the win with you reaching out? Not just to reach out. I want you to write down, what are you trying to accomplish when you make this phone call? Is it to set up a face-to-face coffee, a lunch? Is it to set up a Zoom? Is it to schedule a 30-minute call? What's the win when you reach out to these folks? Have a goal in mind, right? What is your end goal of contacting these folks? So define what the win is for you when you reach out to Sarah at XPE Realty. Do you want to set up a time for a coffee? Do you want to set up a time for an actual Zoom with a time and date? Do we want to schedule a call at a certain time, a certain date? Define the win, and you can kick that music back on. Give you about a minute to do this. And if y'all didn't know, there is an app within Zoom that you can actually play music if you are the host. We just figured that out. I don't know if y'all use Zoom a lot, but fun fact, at the bottom of Zoom, there's a little feature that says apps, and you can play music within your Zooms if that helps anybody out. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, and you can do it as poorly as I'm doing it right now, trying to keep you going, Brent.
There is grace for that. All right, so here's the last part of that. Where are networking opportunities within these three silos? Where are networking opportunities where you live within these three silos? Is it the chamber? Is it a BNI? We've got folks out at the IBS, International Builders, out there in Vegas. They are doing that right now because that is one of our top, that's where 80% of our business comes from. So we are actually networking out in Las Vegas right now. We had 3 coaches out there. So where are networking opportunities based off on the 3 silos above? Write those down. Give you a few minutes, give you about 30 seconds.
Better Business Bureau.
Yes.
Good one.
Okay. Thank you, Mindy. This is not rocket science. It's just doing the work, and it's holding yourself accountable to actually go out there and network, because you can cut the music there. Why do we network? Like, really, why do we network? Let me hear from you. Throw it in the chat. And Sean, you're welcome to read some of those out. We network to earn more business ultimately. I don't think anybody would argue that. We network to earn more business. That is our why, to serve others and in turn earn business relationships. You have to define your why before we go out there and do the how. We're going to talk about the how next, and there will be more workshopping going on. How? Here's one of the things we have to do when we walk into a networking event. And I'm going to share how I failed the other day. And Sage, who's on this call, was actually at this event. You have to show up prepared. Okay. So I'm going to give you some best practices and practical tools. But first, you have to show up prepared. And prepared, the Latin word is to show up ready, basically, to show up, to make ready in advance. I went to they call it Ying. It's a young investors networking group last week. I showed up, pulled up to the event, walked right in, did not prepare. Even though I'm coaching on this today, I walked in, I had no game plan. I left an hour and a half later. I got in my truck and I said, I just wasted an hour and a half of my time. I wasted an hour and a half of my time away from my family, away from my 3-year-old daughter, away from my wife. And yes, I met some folks, great, but I didn't have a plan in place. This is a beautiful thing. I work for Syntex Homes. Y'all maybe have heard of Pulte, Beazer, D.R. Horton, the biggest builder in the United States. I work for Syntex. It's a national builder, and we had this rigorous sales training, 6 weeks of training where you were filmed, where you had the role play. It was brutal, but it was beautiful. And you have to define the goal before you walk in. I didn't define the goal when I walked into that networking event. And I left there. Maybe I met some nice people, but there was no win there. I had no goal. When I worked at Syntex Homes and I was set in a sales model, you would come out and tour the neighborhood. There were 4 commitments that I was looking for that I had to go after every time someone walked in my model. 4 of them. First one was a purchase agreement. Hopefully, I was going to get a purchase agreement, right? The second one was a reservation. Hopefully, if I didn't get a purchase agreement, I got a reservation on a home site. If I couldn't get the reservation, then I got a follow-up appointment, specific time, specific date. If I couldn't get a follow-up appointment, my 4th and final attempt at a commitment, a goal, was to set up a follow-up call, specific time, specific date. So when we are walking into these networking opportunities, define your goals, define the 3, the 4 things that you are going to try to achieve while you're there. Or you leave like I did and go, well, I just wasted an hour and a half of my time. And I can't get that hour and a half back. And so here's the important thing. The meeting before the meeting is the most important meeting. You're like, what? That's a lot of meetings. I should have in my truck before I got out to go into that networking event, just going back over, what is my goal? What's the win? If I leave here today accomplishing X, Y, or Z, it is worth the investment. So another thing we're talking about being prepared for these networking events. Have a flow code. I've got one on my phone. You can just have people scan it and they get your contact information. And if you pay for the upgraded service, you get their contact information. Super simple way to share your information and be efficient. Calendly link. Be ready right then and there to book an appointment. If you want to get some time with somebody, pull up your Calendly link, send it to them, have them book something right then and there. That might be one of your goals. Okay. Again, show up to this networking event with questions to ask. Be prepared. Show interest in, be attentive to those you are interacting with. I'll use this word a lot about being intentional, and I'll bring this back around about, you'll hear these words again, being attentive to and showing interest in. Like, ask the questions. Hey, who's your ideal client at the networking event? Ask Sally from XP Realty, like I used before, who is your ideal client? And Sage, you'll notice some of these questions. What is a good referral for you, Sally? How can I set you up for success? You're showing interest in. What is the number one problem, Sally, you are facing in your business right now? Again, if you ask great questions, what do you think the effect will be? That probably will be reciprocated. All right, here, P.S. You should have the answers to these questions yourself. You should know how people should refer you. You should know some of the major things that you're facing in your industry. So here's the deal. Coming back to this being attentive to and showing interest in, there is a ongoing Harvard study, 80 plus years. It's still ongoing. If you take nothing else from this today, this will change your life. Okay. They have found out, they have They have narrowed this down to two core principles. The healthiest, hear me out, the healthiest and happiest people are those who show interest in and are attentive to those folks around them, whether at work or at home. So when you show up to a networking event, to get the most out of it from a business standpoint and life standpoint, show interest in and be attentive to the person that you're talking to. And it's good for your health, which is an extra benefit. And while we are there and networking, be efficient. Have a concise and compelling statement describing what you do, your purpose, right? Your purpose to have a simple, thoughtful statement that grabs the attention of a potential ideal client without getting deep into the how of what we do. That's what we do. We talk too much about the how and inspire them. You can go to the next slide with the why first. So have a purpose. It's called an elevator pitch. Like we have our own. Sean will throw it up there on the slide. Here is our elevator pitch, right? You can see, hey, guys, if we're interacting, what do you do, Brent? Well, we work with business owners and key leaders to build purpose, people, process, and profit using the powerful business on purpose roadmap so owners can be liberated from chaos and make time for what matters most. We have to be concise or we lose folks. We lose them. We ramble. And if you don't have one, that we lose them. And so to be engaged, yeah, Michael from the office, who doesn't love Michael? Let's build out, let's start the process. You might not have it refined by the end of this call, but we're going to put some music on, take that sheet of paper and start thinking and writing it down. What is your compelling, concise, basically your elevator pitch? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What moves you forward? Why do you do what you do? Not how. The how is not important. Why is important. So if you were to build out your elevator pitch that you could rattle off in less than a minute that grabs somebody's attention, because remember, we're talking about networking, which is marketing, which leads to sales. So we want to be prepared, and having an elevator pitch, and you can not like that term, that's totally okay. You're going to show up differently than most people do at these networking events. So, hey, we're going to give you 3, maybe 4 minutes. This is where we do the work, because when you leave this masterclass, you're not going to do the work because life's busy. We've got very little margin in our culture. Got a lot of leisure. We don't have much margin. So I'll let y'all build this out, listen to the music, as funky as it may be.
Nicole says that networking is like hosting. It's about them, not about you. Love that.
100%. That is
great.
Truth.
Love to talk about themselves, she says. Try to begin with what got you into this business and what do you love about it? Simple. Love it.
Great questions.
Jessica says, who is someone I could connect you with that would add value to your business? Beautiful.
Good stuff. That's where we all get better, is the collective group that's here today. I mean, this isn't y'all's first rodeo. So throw some, I call them just nuggets in the chat there. That might be the one thing somebody takes away from today's call. Maybe it nothing that I said. It might be something that you put in the chat that you've had success from.
Talked to a builder out in Vegas yesterday after our team was out there, and he said, I've never met a group of people that have given away more free resources and content. And he honestly was pretty shocked by it. He was like, this is awesome. What you guys are doing is great. That was pretty encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sage says, does the elevator pitch generally tie into the mission statement?
Yeah, very, very similar. You can see that ours is incorporated within the elevator pitch. We just added some verbiage at the people, process, profit, people, process, purpose.
Process,
yes,
people,
purpose.
Yeah,
we just added some verbiage. Don't forget the purpose or it matters not. Okay, a couple more minutes.
Richard said, what problem can we help you with?
Yeah.
People love solutions. Great.
Yep. Be problem solvers. That's the nature of the beast. Be a problem solver. We go back to Vanilla Ice, right? You got a problem. Yo, I'll solve it.
Yo, I'll solve it.
But you have to have a desire to solve people's problems. And it might not be your product or service, but you might be able to connect them to someone's product or service that can solve their problem.
Word I think about is curiosity. Just thinking about curious and tell me about the business. Tell me about why you got into it, or what are the details of it? Tell me why that choice.
Yeah, that's a great because we in sales, I grew up in sales. I mean, that's what I did forever. ABCs, right? You always heard it's in Alec Baldwin, always be closing, but always be curious. ABC, always be curious in your relationships at home, in your relationships at work, and when you are out there trying to get more business. All right, so we've prepared. We're asking good questions. We are showing interest in. We're being attentive to. We've set the goal. What's the win? The next thing is the 10-minute huddle. What do I mean? If I had have worked my plan at this last networking event that I went to, what I would have done is I'd have gone back out to my truck and I'd have had a huddle with myself. I'd write down, right, the names of the folks I met. Hey, I met Sage. He's a financial planner, loves X, Y, or Z. This should be a part of your strategy at every networking event. If you've shown that interest in those folks, you've gotten to know some facts about them. So before you leave the event, that should be like a trigger, like you get in your car. That's how we launch processes. Trigger, get my car to leave, launches the huddle process where you just write down either in your phone or on a notepad or email yourself some notes about who you met, one good fact about them, right? So review your goals and write down, hey, did I accomplish anything that I set out to do? Unlike I did at the last one. Did I set up a time to meet with someone? Do I have a call set up? Was I able to connect someone? Whatever your goals are, before you leave there, go, hey, write some facts down. Did I accomplish any of my goals? And if I didn't, that's okay. Give yourself grace. Next time, I will not leave without walking in prepared and leaving without this huddle. Okay. And then, hey, what does your follow up plan look like? How are you going to follow up? Are you going to make the call, send the text, send the voice text? What is your follow up process from those folks that you made a connection with? Because if you leave there and you leave it at that and you don't follow up, we're not being strategic in our networking and we're not developing relationships. We're actually not getting to know people. Remember, to be healthier, the happiest, healthiest people, that's a mouthful, are those that show interest in and are attentive to. That's a Harvard study, 80 years, still ongoing. So write down, let's take a little time and just say, hey, when I leave a networking event, what is my follow-up process? Is it the phone call? Is it a text telling them how great it was to meet them? What is my follow-up process after I leave the networking event? Like if I left and I'd met Sage, Sage is in my neck of the woods. We were in a BNI together. Maybe it was like I am calling Sage, tell him, hey, it was great to see you. Let's get together next Friday at noon. Will that work for you? Okay. And then y'all can have more time together with that person to see, hey, can I connect you with someone? Or is it that we can do business together? So just some practical things. Hey, where will you store these 10-minute huddles that when you leave a networking event, store it in the same place, at the same time, same way every time. So you have access to these. Maybe it's a Google Doc, maybe it's iNotes on your phone. Where will you store the information that you gained at these networking events? Be intentional. Here's another question. How are you going to hold yourself accountable to follow up? Like if there's no accountability, life gets busy and you just don't follow up. And again, we wasted our time. So think through this. Where are other networking opportunities based off 80% of your business? Where are some other opportunities? If you keep going to the same networking events and there's just no traction there, keep brainstorming. Where are other opportunities within my three silos that I hope that we've written out? And how can I continue moving the needle forward and getting in front of people in those silos? Because again, that's 80% of our business. All right. So none of this matters unless we implement what we've talked about today. And again, it's not rocket science. If we go back up to, hey, show up prepared, show up with a goal in mind, show up with the questions that you're going to ask, show up with your elevator pitch, be concise, have a heart that you are there to serve others. When you leave, the huddle process kicks into place, right? You put your keys in ignition, that's the trigger. Who did I meet? One fact, and how am I going to follow up with these folks? So we have to go out there and implement this. So nothing like new under the sun, but this is where we'll field some questions. But you'll see if anybody has any interest in seeing what it looks like to coach with us, we'll get to that. But let's field some questions now about networking.
Nicole said, write all your notes down as soon as you get into the car. You will forget, and I will definitely forget. Yeah, it was
Uh,
great.
100%. We've got one. Let's see. Claudine, I produce a follow-up video. It's my gift to you today.
Thanks,
This is
Claudine.
awesome. Yes,
Wonderful.
this is great. I used to use this a lot of time when I was in real estate. I used BombBomb, and so there would be follow-up videos. I would have these things. Some were generic, some were personalized. But this is your time. You can come off mute. You've got two of the BOP coaches here today. Use this time to pick our brains, or even somebody else that's on this call with us.
Brent, I'd love to know how you use technology to help you with this, to help you schedule, help you plan. Like if you make a contact, you ask the question, you know where you want to do with it. How do you use technology to make it easier on yourself?
Yeah, that's a great. So I invested, and I think all of us have at BOP. I don't know if you've invested in this yet, Sean, or not. Hit them up. It is a text app. I can store all my contacts in there. I can create categories, right? And I put contacts in that, and that way I can go through, and I have a trigger on Fridays to go through, hit them up. Fridays at
Awesome.
10, I pull up, hit them up, and I go through my contacts, and I will reach out via text through that app. Got a question,
Yeah, go
Claudine?
ahead,
You got your hand?
Claudine.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
we got
thank
another.
you.
Yeah,
Hi.
go
Thank you.
ahead.
Thank you. I love this. I love this. So my question, nowadays we are using virtual programs, virtual event. Any suggestions on tips about networking? Because on a virtual, because sometimes we go to event where they don't allow us to put our information in the chat. So any suggestion? What do we do with that? How we network? Thank you.
Yeah, so make sure I understand. So clarify, Sean, did you grab all that? My audio cut
I
out.
think she was asking, how do you get your contact info out when there's no way to get your contact info out? Is that what you were asking,
Oh,
Claudine?
On a virtual event, like on a Zoom,
Virtual
sometimes
event.
when you
Oh,
go
I
to
see.
event, they don't like the host, they don't allow us to put our information in the chat.
Mm.
So any suggestions and
hmm.
ideas? Thank you.
Okay. I may have to think on that one. I don't have anything right out the gate. Anybody from the group here collectively that has solved that problem? We can definitely get back to you. We've got 50 years of experience in coaching, and we talk about things like this every Monday. But Jessica, go for it. Jessica from Texas.
Hey, so yeah, we used to have a networking event of over like 75 people, very similar to like a BNI. I ran it through COVID and we had this. We became virtual and then we had people from all over coming in and we had to protect the group, the goals from being spammed. So the best advice that we always gave was be somebody that I want to reach out to afterwards. So basically, like you see in the chat, you gave some, great advice. I've seen Nicole giving great advice. These are people that I might message privately and say, we have similar interests. I really want to learn more about what you're doing. Can we connect? So make yourself somebody that genuinely someone would want to reach out to and connect with, maybe like businesses or just a great tool. Like, hey, I've never heard of that. Can you tell me more?
Oh,
No,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks,
that's
Jessica.
good. We had a question from Dave about what CRM do you prefer and why? I've used a lot of CRMs, and this is going to sound sarcastic. It's not the one you're actually going to use. Folks will invest in a CRM and they will use it to 10% of its capacity or not use it at all. I've used everything from Salesforce, you name it. I've used it in the real estate world. We use something as simplistic as Google Streak. It's a free CRM, but the best CRM is the one that you're actually going to use. And they're going to be industry specific, right? Specific to different industries. Which one are you currently using, Dave? Or do you have one yet?
Yeah, and I would also say to Claudine's question, I mean, I don't think every opportunity doesn't have to be a sales opportunity or networking
Mm-hmm.
event. Sometimes they're just not designed to be. It's designed to see some people, connect as possible, and then I think it's kind of like fishing. I don't like fishing, but you throw something out there, you see what happens, and they say, "Oh, great, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to go this way and see where it leads." But just seeing it as opportunities and seeing it, being curious about, hey, where could I go next with this?
Sage said I started using what is that COVVE scan app for business cards to store them electronically and has been super beneficial. That's good stuff.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
LinkedIn
Floco.
is LinkedIn is a underused resource in the professional world, hands
Mm.
down. LinkedIn, make sure your profile is updated. Make sure you're actually active on it, like you would be an Instagram, like you would be Facebook, but definitely underutilized. Yeah.
Mhm. Accelerate.
Nicole,
I haven't
fix
heard of
me.
accelerate.
What is accelerate? We use accelerate because it's industry specific, but I want something more general. I know that a lot of people have used in many different industries Salesforce. I have heard that it is one of the Cadillacs of CRMs. You may want, and they have different tiers, Dave. So you might want to reach out and look into Salesforce. But I've used it personally; it's phenomenal if you maximize it. And I know folks in totally different industries that have used Salesforce. So great questions.
HubSpot is a great one, budget friendly, and probably what most businesses need. Nicole's rolling it out today. She just keeps on going.
I love it. Thank you, Nicole, for the wisdom.
Salesforce, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, what can your business afford to invest in CRM wise? And then look at the ones out there that come highly rated at different price points. Let me ask you this. Are y'all, for the folks on this call, what has kept you from going to networking events? If you haven't been out there, what is one of the biggest stumbling blocks for you personally to getting out to networking events? Throw it in the chat or come off mute.
Yeah, for sure. I'd probably say most people were thinking time, right? Time away from the business, time away from the work that you're doing in your business. Yeah,
time away from family. I mean, some of these are after hours. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good question of how you choose what networking events. You can't spread too thin, can't go to 10 a day, but could you pick 1 or 2 a week that are targeted and specific that really match your ideal clients? And having a checklist for us is important to know who our ideal clients are, and then to consider, will this event be connected to people? If we're in the builder space, we're probably not going to go to a retail kind of convention. It just doesn't make sense for us. But if we want to be builders, we're going to be in Vegas, and kind of our target.
And your return on investment. It is an investment, and it's okay to want a good return on investment monetarily and for your time. And so BNI is one of the networking events that I do, and it is proven relationally worth it and financially worth it. I have gotten clients from our BNI. So are you getting the return? Are you tracking? Like, are you tracking kind of your referrals from these networking events? And some of it's trial and error. But it's almost saying, hey, I'm going to commit to X amount of hours of networking a month. And then I'm going to go to my, the weekly schedule, and I'm going to plan these out in advance. It's being proactive of going, hey, set the goal. If we don't set the goal, we don't easily hit a goal, right? And we arbitrarily get to the end of the month and we're like, oh, did zero networking. Maybe you start off with, I'm going to do with 1 hour of networking a month, but set the goal, hold yourself accountable, share the goal with someone, and get out there and start networking.
It's great.
Finding the places to actually go. Yeah. Minnie, what line of work are you in? What industry are you in?
AC business in Houston.
You're out in, let's see, Jessica, I can't, are you Dallas? You're Dallas. Okay. Commercial and residential. For us, it's some of these trade shows. And share with us this also, Mindy, like where is 80% of your business coming from now?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Okay.
That a good bit.
Yeah, word of mouth. It's hard to track that, right? So there's referrals there. So one of your biggest places that you would want to start based off the facts from the Carnegie Institute is, okay, if you've got happy, satisfied customers, be one of that 11% that's actually asking your happy, satisfied customers, hey, who do you know? Because here's how we mostly do it. Hey, if you think about me, or if you know somebody, they're not going to think about you. But hey, who do you know? Ask specifically. Hey, Jessica, who do you know that would love the kind of service that we have provided to you? Would you be opposed to connecting me? I mean, it's starting with your referrals, your satisfied folks, starting there.
Dave's dead on with this.
Filters,
I think that
property managers, service contractors,
upstream in the work you're doing is smart, because you could knock on 100 doors a day and you could go seeking HVAC business, or you could be in conversations with building a relationship with people that are, a builder builds 50 homes a day, and you've got opportunities with them. So I think that's great, Dave. Pipelines. Yeah,
we've got a HVAC company in our BNI, and we've got a realtor who just feeds them leads. And so maybe it's finding the right BNI with those industries that Dave just referenced, and have this symbiotic relationship where y'all are creating these power teams, right? and the referral sources are there, but pipeline is key for sure. Upstream is a great term, Sean. What's upstream for
I was
from
reading
you?
on Twitter, a guy bought a wedding, like a trailer that had a restroom in it for outdoor weddings. And instead of going to 50 brides, he went to wedding planners and he said, "Hey, I've got a service I provide, which is all these big, beautiful outdoor weddings that want, some sort of facilities." And he said the best opportunity was with the wedding planners, not with the brides, because you'd spend all your time hunting down brides, but the wedding planners are going to be the people that are coordinating the details of those things. I thought that was a really brilliant, wise way to see connections and using your time for what was most important.
Yeah, chamber. We're involved in the chamber. We speak at the chamber. Great referral source. And Sean's, yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Any other
Wonderful.
questions? This is good. I'm hopefully there's some takeaways. And I would love for y'all to throw in the chat, what is one thing that you're taking away from today that you're going to move forward and put into action? What is one takeaway from today that you are going to take action on? Thanks, Sage. Yeah, what's the win, right? Adding value to the conversation of a Zoom call, 100%. And how do we do that? We show interest in, we're attentive to. We have a heart to serve someone, and people gravitate to people like that. Writing down notes after leaving a networking meeting. Yes. Having a follow-up process. We talk about processes. We talk about triggers here at BOP a lot. Have a time trigger. If you're going to have a follow-up process, maybe it's Friday at 10 o'clock. When that time hits, you've got a reminder to start your follow-up process. That's what triggers your follow-up process. And so be intentional with setting some of those. Define the goal before you walk in. Yes, do not be like me and just walk in and spend an hour and a half of my time really reactive and not proactive. It's good stuff. Is there a best day of the week to follow up with people?
I will say that Brent doesn't like the word follow up.
What do I like?
You don't like the word follow up. I don't even follow. I hate the word follow up. You say, "We talked
Yeah.
about this, and
Yes.
I would love to continue this conversation that was beneficial." No, following up sounds like take it or leave it. No, this is important.
Verbiage, right? Like if I met you, Sage, at a builder expo, verbiage is important. I'm not going to call you, "Hey, Sage, just following up." You're like, "What? Sage, we met each other at the Dallas Expo. You had some questions around X, Y, and Z, and you expressed some interest to hear more about coaching. I've actually got some time, whatever." I'm just following up, right?
Yeah.
I'm just following up.
I think
Be
that goes back
specific.
to your intention. Like there's an intention in this phone call. It's not that I need to make a sale. It's that I have an intention to help you or bring value or connect you to
Yeah.
somebody else. So I think I really like that. But yeah, when I think about marketing, it's the right message to the right people at the right time. And so I'm looking for exactly like you said, what's the best day of the week to help people connect? If it's contractors, I don't make a lot of calls in the mornings because I know they're on job sites. I know they're following up with jobs. I know they're meeting with people, but like 11, 12, lunch, late afternoon after work, those are great times to connect where we've got opportunity and they've got the space to have good conversations.
Yeah, good word. Hey, Nicole, you want to come off mute and just kind of talk through that real quickly?
Well, I have kind of a sales approach close to you, right? Where it's like, we got to capture these leads, right? So it may not always be the right time, the right day, the right moment, but I can't tell you how many clients we've signed just from newsletters that go out from people that I haven't talked to in 8 months. So all that networking and time you put in, don't lose it. Make sure those people are in your email list, connect with them on LinkedIn, connect on them with social, because they are going to keep seeing your message. And then when the time that they need you, they know exactly where to find you. And they don't have to think, who was that gal that I met that time? They already know because you're in their inbox.
Yeah. How do you stay top of mind? And it takes way more touches than you think. A lot of folks will call 1 or 2 times. Hey, life's busy, y'all. You've got a solution to their problem. And so stay top of mind. You're doing them a service by staying at top of mind, unless they say stop, right, to the text or the emails, and then you honor that. But it takes way more touches than you think because we are all going Mach 4 in today's culture. So good stuff. Thank you, Nicole. Inauthentic salesmanship gives me the creeps. Be real. Yes, you can be real. Absolutely be real. That day of the used car salesman has come and gone. Nobody wants to deal with that type of mentality. You are there to be a potential guide, right? And to solve their problem, not force them to buy something that they don't need and can't afford. So
I feel like there's a meme or a GIF there on the inauthentic
there's
salesman gives me the creeps. I got a
you can go
picture in
if
my
y'all want
mind.
to if y'all want to laugh. We used to use this in sales training. You can go to YouTube and put in the sales badger, and it is the satire of the used car salesman. The sales badger, it's this literal badger that is giving all the creepy vibes that you can get from a salesperson. So you'll get some giggles out of that. All right. Well, any more questions out there before we part? And Sean, you can throw up if you want. We've got 2 links here. If you're curious as to, hey, what does coaching with business on purpose look like? By all means, just fill out. It's a pretty simple application. The link's up there. And also free of charge. If you want a healthy business assessment, you can scan that. So I had to learn how to use actual QR code. You just hold your camera up to it and you click on the link, and hey, it'll take you 10 minutes to do a healthy business assessment. Yes, I had to step away. Will the recording be available? It will be. Once we edit this, we will send it out to all those who were here today. Awesome.
Brent, that
Thank
was
you
a
for
wealth of
that.
information. I'm taking notes here, and I love it. I love hearing you talk
Yeah.
about it. It's so great. I mean, you just got it's all in your mind. We just got to absorb it into us.
Yeah. 48 years, right? 48 years. Well, listen, we appreciate y'all being here, and we hope you put into action the one thing that you put in the chat. Thank y'all for being like a part of it and not just sitting back there and listening. That's what makes us better. So we appreciate y'all. We will send the recording out, and let us know what you need. We're here for you. Y'all have a great day.
Have a great Thursday. See y'all.
Thanks, Brent. Great job.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for being on, Sage. Don't go to the next event without showing up, without putting in the plan,
Thanks
putting the
very
plan in
much.
place. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Thank
All
you.
right, gang. Well, I've got a fun appointment with my with my CPA. So without further ado, we are going to sign off here at BOP, and y'all have a great rest of the week.
All right. See y'all.